Hey folks, Brad coming at you here with a little like and dislikes from the 2018 NFL Draft. So here we go. We'll start with the negative. Well, you know what? We'll start with the swing for the fences. And that was the Oakland Raiders. Every single pick they took was like a swing for the fence, like drafting solely on potential. Like every single pick. Let me go through them here. Colton Miller, not really ready to play left tackle, in my opinion, week one in the NFL. Has some skills, sure. I could see him being good. But again, definitely a potential pick, right? But he may not have to play depending on what's going on with Donald Penn. I saw that today. But then PJ Hall, he's like a nose tackle from Sam Houston or whatever. Again, just another potential guy. I can see like all these guys being out of the league by year four. Arden Key from LSU. Yeah, he shows flashes all around. Disappointing. Again, just another kind of height, weight, speed guy. I feel like Al Davis is drafting. Maurice Hurst, have a heart attack at any moment. I don't know. But even besides, everybody's like, he just dropped because of that. Well, he's basically just a pass rushing defensive tackle. He's not very good. He can get bowled over in the run game, you know. But again, he's kind of fast. He's quick twitch. Yeah, fifth round, worth it. But again, another risk. Just literally. And then they took another offensive tackle from like North Carolina A&T or something. Another just, hey, you look tall, but not really ready to play in the NFL yet. So literally their whole draft was just, they were swinging for it, man. Like these guys, you were either going to look back at the Raiders draft and go, that was the most epically failed draft, or that was like the best draft ever. There's not going to be an in between, I have a feeling. These all guys are going to be all out of the league in 4 years, or you're just going to be like, wow, you just hit a home run. Because literally every single pick they took was all potential completely. And you guys know what I mean. There's some guys that are just ready to play in the NFL, maybe don't have high ceilings, but you know they're going to stick around. None of these guys are like that. So he definitely didn't spread it out. Which you can do when you have a 10-year contract, I guess, that's guaranteed. You can do that. So the Raiders was like just the holy crap. The swing for the fences spot is the way I call it. But my other dislikes for having 11 picks in this draft, you should be one of the guys I go, ooh, you probably had a good draft. The Colts. I just go through all these players. Quentin Nelson's fine at 6. Take a guard, protect your quarterback. Don't have a problem with that one. The rest of them just, ugh. And then they draft Nyheim Hines. You just had a guy like that last year in Marlon Mack. Need 2 of them? I don't know, but yeah, I looked through all their players and I'm like, I don't really like any of these guys. So, Colts, didn't like it. Saints, give up a bunch to trade up for Marcus Davenport. Again, another I would call raw prospect with some pass rush ability. But they gave up next year's first round pick to move up to 14 to take him. And the rest of their draft wasn't nothing impressive either. So Saints, didn't like it. Some of my likes, the Packers, who were part of that trade. Oh, wait a minute. Stop. I have one more dislike. The Seattle Seahawks. Oh, no, he's saying he dislikes the guy that drafted the guy with one hand. You can't do that. Well, you know I will. It has nothing to do with drafting that guy. Rashad Penny in the first round. I think of most of the picks, that was the one I went. Not a first-round running back by any stretch. Now, not hating on him. I don't think he's a horrible player. I think he could play in this league. In the first round at 27, a lot better players on the board there. I was a little confused by that one. None of the other picks impressed me much either. So Seattle. Anyways, on to the more positive side. Packers get couple guys they want. Jaire Alexander, and get a first-round pick next year from the Saints. Get Josh Jackson in the second round. pretty much kind of the opposite types of corners. So they're like, hey, hopefully one of you work out. One's more of an explosive type, one's more of the tall and the man type. I liked it. Then they drafted a linebacker, a coverage linebacker. It used to be like a safety. Bam, brilliant. All stuff they needed. So Packers, you get a thumbs up from me. Plus, like I said, you get a first rounder next year. The Broncos. I'll be honest, when they took Bradley Chubb, I was like, okay, you definitely went best player on the board. But I didn't necessarily love it. But then they got Cortland Sutton. Then they got Royce Freeman. Nice power running back that they needed. Then the pick I love, the guy I love in this draft. I actually happen to love a lot of linebackers in this draft. I like the linebackers in this draft. Josey Jewell will not test out like a maniac by any stretch, but you want to just find a guy who is always around the football. It'll be Josey Jewell. I will be shocked if by year 2 he isn't starting. Whether you plan on starting him or not, he will be out there. I will just guarantee you that's the kind of guy he is. He is always around the football, so love that in like the 4th round. So Broncos, you get a thumbs up. The other team that gets a thumbs up, the Chicago Bears. Told you I love linebackers in this draft. Well, there was one linebacker I loved the most, and they took him. Roquan Smith. Oh, do everything. Whew. The guy gave me a pants tent. If only he could have fell to the Dolphins, which I knew he wasn't going to. Love it. Then they come back with James Daniels. Center, guard, wherever they want to play him. Probably play him at guard is my guess. Brilliant pick. Lovely lineman. Then they get another guy, Anthony Miller from Memphis. Polished wide receiver, ready to play now. Love it. So, Bears, thumbs up. Love the Bears draft. Now on to a couple other drafts that people have criticized that I don't agree with. The Browns. People giving Browns a lot of crap. I don't give him any crap for Baker Mayfield. He was the best college quarterback. No one can argue that. Yeah, this isn't college. But I don't have a problem with it. Like, I cannot sit up here and say I felt strongly about any of these quarterbacks that one was way better than the other headed into the NFL. They all had question marks, in my opinion. So, I didn't, So that's why they weren't on the love it list or hate it list. And then people are giving them crap about drafting Denzel Ward. That's a lovely pick. They're desperate for corners. Yeah, you could have took Bradley Chubb. In this day and age with all the passing, you also need corners. You can have a great pass rush too. It's all got to work in unison. So I think they were just trying to spread out some of the young assets here. They needed a corner. They drafted a hell of a one. I don't get the criticism of it. They drafted Austin Corbett in the 2nd round. Beautiful pick. Nick Chubb thought was a little high. I think he's overrated. I love Sonny Michel way more than I do Nick Chubb. But, again, probably a guy who will hang around the league for a few years, sure. So I had no problem with that. But the Browns draft I thought was fine. Getting criticized to me for no reason. I think it's more put it this way. If this had a Ravens helmet next to it with the exact same players, they would be calling it a genius draft. Because it has a Browns helmet, they're criticizing it. And that's what I don't like about it. Because I'm telling you right now, if it had a Ravens head or a Steelers head next to it with the same exact players, it would be A+, best draft ever. But because it has a Browns helmet, people are going to criticize. The Dolphins, they were kind of in the middle. They weren't my love or dislike. Minkah Fitzpatrick, safe pick at 1. Obviously use him. Second one, Mike Gesicki. Looking for an explosive tight end. Everyone's looking for like a Jimmy Graham type, whatever. He's not a Gronk type because he doesn't block at all. Jerome Baker in the 3rd round, I like. Basically, he's a sideline-to-sideline, fast coverage linebacker. Will get bowled over in the run game. I know that from watching a lot of Ohio State games. That is not his strength. But what couldn't we do last year? cover backs and tight ends out of the backfield. We get Fitzpatrick, Jerome Baker to help with that. So I'm all for it. Then we draft, because we drafted a tight end that can't block, we drafted a blocking specialist basically at tight end from Notre Dame in the 4th round. Picked a little high, I think, but they drafted for need in this draft, not best player on the board, I guarantee it. It was all need. It was a need draft. That's what they drafted like. And they drafted a kicker from New Mexico because we didn't have a kicker on the squad. So like I said, need draft, folks. Oh, another thing I liked about the Packers draft was the punter from Alabama. Guy's beast. You know I love the kickers too. Fat guys and kickers, I'm all in. But, so yeah, the Dolphins draft was just kind of there. I didn't have a problem with it. But it was a need draft. There was no Fitzpatrick might have been the best player on their board. But I think other than that, I don't think they took best player on the board, so to speak. They definitely drafted need throughout the whole draft. So, yeah, there's a little tidbits there for you. No hot takes, I don't think, but just a little bit of the opinion. So, some winners, recap, Bears, Broncos, Packers, and Browns didn't do as bad as people were saying. It's just because it has a Browns helmet next to them. Dislikes, Seahawks. What was it? Seahawks, Colts, Saints, and then Raiders was like every pick was swing for the fences. They're either all going to be out of the league in 4 or 5 years, or we're going to look back and say that was one of the greatest drafts ever for them. So there you go. There's a little recap. Bye-bye, folks. Enjoy your Monday. See you later.